it's Mark from MSD Defense. Thanks for joining the channel today. I'm going to do a quick video today on carrying in your vehicle because there's different considerations, obviously, especially when you're concealed carrying or even open carrying. Normally at the range, you draw from the holster, your shoulder holster, appendix carry, however you're doing it, and you're not really in a confined space. But in your vehicle, you are going to be in a confined space, so you have to consider that fact, especially when you're wearing a seat belt, other people in the vehicle, and whatnot. So typically, when you're sitting in the vehicle, obviously, different ways to carry. I've got my SIG X macro here. This is your standard outside the waistband holster. I'm right-handed, so this would be sitting here. But of course, there are problems with that, as I'm literally leaning on the gun. It's right where the seatbelt hooks up. So in an emergency, if I couldn't accelerate out of the area, which is really the best thing to do, is get out of that situation. But if you can't, this is going to be harder for me to get to quickly, especially when I do not carry open. So it will be covered by some sort of garment, whether it be my shirt or jacket or whatever. Also, if you appendix carry, which I do sometimes do with my little Hellcat because it is smaller, I can obviously use my SIG as well. This is a little bit smaller, so it's a little more comfortable for me. Everybody's different. Obviously, as I've gotten older, I've got a little more girth on me. You could say that's fine, I know. But if I'm doing it, I'm obviously covering my leg, which is, against the safety rules. You don't want your muzzle to cover anything you're not willing to shoot. However, it's going to happen, especially in appendix carry when you're sitting. That's just the reality of it. The problem with appendix carry in the vehicle that I found is, of course, I've got my seatbelt coming straight across right where my firearm is. So that may kind of inhibit me from being able to pull it out quickly in an emergency. But that's an option. You can do that as well. Obviously, some people are very comfortable carrying appendix carry, whether they're right or left-handed. You could also take, I've seen mounts that you could put on the inside. This is a right-hand holster, so this would either have to be on the passenger side, or I can get a left-handed holster and put it on the inside here down by my leg. That's pretty convenient. It keeps it secure, so it's not going to move around if I make a quick stop or turn or something happens. The only issue that I have with that is that I obviously am not going to get out of the vehicle and walk away leaving it there, where even if you couldn't see it, it's not really secure if somebody were to break in. If you do carry that way, you put it here in the console if you're going back and forth somewhere. You can put it in this little center holder here, in the cup holder. It'll sit pretty much straight in the cup holder. Actually fits pretty good. But again, when I get out of the vehicle, I want to go ahead and reconceal it. And so if you do that, just make sure you use the door or whatnot for cover. You can set it on the seat if you want, but remember this: if you're carrying it, you're in your vehicle, it's loaded, it needs to be in a holster. The only issue I have, again, if the holster itself is not secure, even though yes, I could have it in the holster, I could set it here, I could set it on the dash. Realistically, I wouldn't do that. But the problem is, if I were to have to get it really quick, because the holster is not secure, I'm going to have to use two hands to get the firearm out. That'll take me an extra second or so, but you might be coming back from the range. Maybe you have it tucked in your range bag up front. Again, I always have it in the holster. Whenever I'm carrying, and whether it's in a bag or not, it's always in some sort of holster to secure it. I found, again, when you're driving, obviously, I'll have my seatbelt on. And when I do appendix carry, what I like to do, because again, my seatbelt is right basically where my firearm is, and my shirt is kind of tucked under the seatbelt, what I'll do is I'll actually take my t-shirt and pull it out from under the seatbelt, so that if I had to do it and I couldn't get my seatbelt off fast enough or something were to happen, I'm not trying to yank my shirt from under the seatbelt. It's actually off of it, yet still covering, and I'm able to get to my firearm quicker if I have to engage. Another thing that I learned about, especially with the seatbelt, when I work patrol, I'm in law enforcement, because I had all that gear on, to remove the seatbelt. And another habit that I have is instead of just reaching here like you normally do, click it and take it out, what I'll do is I'll take my left hand, because again I am right-handed, and this is really the only way you can do it, and I'll go under the belt itself. Now I can reach down, it's a little harder on my blazer because it sits lower, or I could even still use my right hand to come in, and I'll unlock it, and I'll actually bring my left hand out towards the steering wheel a little bit, because what that does is that pulls the buckle out away from my waist, and so that's a little easier if I have to come up and try to get to it, you know, pull it a little bit, and that clears the belt. Those are just some things I've learned. Again, you're in a enclosed environment, right? You can't move around too much if you have to engage. So those are just some things you can do, but the big thing to remember is make sure your firearm's always secure. Again, if it's loaded in your vehicle, it needs to be in a holster. Whether it's sitting on the seat, the cup holder, you know, you might have it an extra holster attached to the side that you could place it in while you're driving, and then when you get out you could take it and reconceal, whether it's appendix, you know, ankle holster, hip, inside the waistband in the back, shoulder holster, whatever you've got. These are just some things, again, that I've come across and some people have asked me about, and I've asked other people about, because everybody's different. Everybody carries differently, is comfortable different in different types of situations. The one thing to remember is to practice, just like we go to the range and we'll work on our fundamentals and we'll practice, you know, adjusting, and if we see if we're, you know, mashing or we're anticipating or whatever we're doing, we'll adjust, and you know, we'll do that to stay proficient. You need to practice this, because again, you drive to the range. At the range you can move around, you can do things, but when you're in your vehicle, you're completely enclosed. Okay, so what I like to do is every once in a while, you know, throughout the month, if I come home from somewhere, I'll just sit for an extra few minutes and I'll just practice taking my firearm out and looking at how am I doing it, or how can I adjust, or what is working for me or not working for me, and practice that, because you've got to remember, when it hits the fan, right, and you're under stress, you're going to fall back on your training or your lack of training, okay, because it works both ways. So make sure you practice. Again, take a few minutes every time, you know, once, twice a week or whenever, and just take that extra second when you come home. Okay, let me just practice real fast. Be safe. If you need to, get a training firearm that's completely inert, just to practice the motion, because again, that muscle memory will kick in. You can unload your firearm, obviously, to be safe if you're not sure. And again, don't do it at super high speeds until you're comfortable doing it. Just going through the motion slowly and look at what you're doing, so you know, that doesn't work for me, I like doing this, because again, everybody's different. And also, one thing to remember, when you practice from the passenger seat as well, because now you're unlocking your seatbelt on the other side and you're sitting in a different position in the vehicle. So just sit on both sides just to kind of see how it works. Again, I'm right-handed, so someone who's left-handed is going to be having to draw their weapon from their left side, most likely, unless they're cross-drawing, right, which a lot of people do. I have a neighbor who's right-handed, but he cross-draws, right, from his appendix carry, but whereas I would do it on the right, because that's my right side, my strong side, he actually cross-draws from the left, and that works for him. But he practices it, because again, that muscle memory needs to kick in. So this was a quick video. I hope you enjoyed it. Again, it's just something that has recently come up, and I thought, man, let me put this information out there. My experience, again, everybody's different. Let me know how you carry, or what the problems you found in a vehicle, or items, or you know, things, whether it be a holster or something to secure your weapon in your vehicle that you've used. Again, remember, just be safe. Make sure it's in a holster. If it's loaded, you're carrying it, it should be in a holster. I don't set it on the seat. I'll put it in maybe my range bag if for some reason I don't have it on me. And again, that could be for a number of reasons, coming from the beach, the gym, whatever you're doing that you can't physically put it back on your body at that time, or it's not comfortable to do or feasible. I just don't set things out loose, even in the holster, even though I can. Because if I have to come to a quick stop, as an example, or make a sharp turn, or I get in an accident, this thing is just going to bounce around the inside of the vehicle. So that's why I don't do it. But practice however you carry, as always, and let me know what you think. If you have any questions, you could reach us at Mark, that's M-A-R-C, at msddefense.com. And I hope you enjoyed the video, just a little quick one. If you have any questions, let me know. And until next time, as always, watch your six, be safe out there, and I will see you at the range.